I see the topic of certifications come up a lot. People talk about the project management professional, the certified scrum master, TOGAF, Lean Six Sigma, Microsoft this, Amazon Solutions that. There's so many certifications out there: Linux, CompTIA, Google. Um, I'm not even gonna begin to try to unpack all the different flavors and versions and what have you out there. But I just want to answer the simple question. Never, never mind what certification has value and what don't. That's just something I can't even cover. Um, but really, just how do you know if certification is worth it? Maybe I'll try to answer that question. It's not an easy question, but I'll try to keep it simple. I myself have, I think maybe, let me just make sure I count. So I have zero active certifications right now. Zero. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have any active certifications. So early in my career, certifications had some value, but that's because I would get certifications to show that I had mastered some certain topic, some certain subject area, and that I could leverage that knowledge to effectively do a job um, that had these responsibilities, that had these technologies, that had these methodologies, and what have you. But once you reach a point where you've already done these things, for example, Amazon AWS Solutions Architect, I don't know if the exact name of the title, but there's a certification that will tell you, if you're an architect for AWS, that's a cool certification to get if you're trying to get a job that either requires it or maybe they don't require the certification, but the duties are typical of that for someone who knows, how to um, really manage and administer, AWS architecture. But after a few years, if you've already done that sort of work, that certification, I don't want to say is wasted, but it might not add as much value. So, certifications make sense on a case by case basis, but I would really say get a certification in something if you want to work in a role that would benefit from that certification. Um, for example, get the PMP if you're trying to become a project manager, right? Get the CSM if you're trying to become a Scrum Master. But if you're already a project manager or you've been a project manager for years without the certification, I don't know if getting it would help. Same goes for, being a Scrum Master, being a product owner. If you've done the job for years, you can speak intelligently about it. You've delivered, you've leveraged the skills that the exam would test you on, and you show them that, what, if I took the certification, I would probably pass. You should be fine. So, like many of my responses, it really depends on your specific situation. For me, I've been trained on the PMP. I've been trained for various Scrum certifications. I've gotten Agile training for SAFe, for Less, for Scrum multiple times. I've even gotten some ServiceNow training, some Salesforce training. I don't even Google. I've been trained in, some of their certifications. At the end of the day, I just take advantage of the professional development my employer offers me, and then I either leverage those skills and then show companies that I know how to use these technologies or methodologies, or I just tell them that, hey, I'll indicate somewhere that I've been trained in this certification. I don't have it, but I've been trained once, twice, sometimes three times just to, make sure I know everything. So while I don't have any active certifications, I've had I think some Google certifications as well as some um, I think I had something from the PMI. I forget which cert it was, but I've been trained in some certifications, I've possessed others. Maintaining them is expensive though, so if I let them lapse, it was usually because I just didn't want to pay the renewal fees. Um, but at this point in my career, it wouldn't really benefit me. And I think if you're senior level, it won't benefit you. But if you're entry level or if you're, mid career, um, they could have some value. But you have to be the one to sit down, do the math, and see if it makes sense for you based on where you're looking to pivot, based on where you're looking to move next in your career. Certifications are expensive, so do take advantage of any reimbursement options or vouchers that your employers can secure for you. In many cases, I've had employers who, instead of paying for the certification, they would pay for the training for those certifications, which is a little odd because usually it's the opposite where the employer will pay for the exam, but not for the training. Even if the training is necessary, like for the Scrum Master certification, you sometimes need to take a class. Some places will not pay for those classes, even though they're required for the exam, but they'll pay for the exam somehow. That makes sense. So, are certifications, these IT or other certifications, important, relevant? Are they a need to have? The answer is just it depends. Depends on your situation, depends on your career, depends on what you've done so far. There's just so many nuances that it's really difficult to say yes or no. People will always err on the side of caution and say yes. Um, but I am very much aware that money is a thing that exists and people have limited resources. So I'm very hesitant to just tell people, yes, get certifications. It's crucial. It's critical. You need it. You can't live without it. I always prefer that people save their money and, just see if it makes sense for you before you go that route and expense not just, the money aspect, but also the energy and the time you'll need to put into securing these certifications. All of that has a value. So you need to really decide if the possible ROI, the theoretical ROI, is worth the definite resources you will sink into securing any certifications.